In today's Careers Portal Q&A session, we're talking interview questions. We've collected your requests, and now we're going to tackle the questions that have you stressed out. So let's get into it. First up, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Your first instinct might be to say something like, sitting where you are, but that isn't necessarily the right answer. The interviewer wants to get a sense for what your career goals are and how the position you're interviewing for fits into them. Remember, companies don't like going through all the efforts of hiring and training a new person. So they're on the lookout for any red flags, such as you wanting to move on too soon. Keep it general, but put the emphasis on your desire for a long-term career at the company. The next interview question is, why do you want to leave your current position? The interviewer asks this to find out whether or not you're leaving for a good reason. Emphasize the positives of the new position, such as how it's an amazing opportunity that you just can't pass up, rather than getting into the negative side of things that may be there or may not. Our next interview question we're looking at is, tell us about yourself. This is a question that everyone hates, but answering it is actually pretty straightforward. The interviewer doesn't care about your hobbies or personal life, so going on about your love for cheese making could potentially tank the interview. Instead, they're asking you to tell them about yourself as a professional. Give the greatest hits of your work experience, but don't just rehash your CV. The next question is basically anything to do with salary. What are your salary requirements? What was your previous salary like? These are the questions we're looking at. Interviewers ask about your previous salary to get a sense of how much you value your work. They also ask questions about your salary requirements to determine whether or not they can afford you. Avoid giving a specific number too early on, as this can hurt your negotiations. Do some research into what the market rate is for the job and base your answers on that. The next question is, why do you think you are the right candidate for this position? In other words, why should we hire you? Sadly, because I'm awesome is not an acceptable answer. The interviewer wants to hear you sell them on you, so this is your opportunity to go over your greatest strengths. Pick 3 or 4 instances of a time when you performed really well and give it a lot of detail and go from there. Next up, questions about strengths and weaknesses, and a bonus question, do you have any questions for us? Being asked about your greatest weakness can really throw you off. Your answer has to have 2 parts, your weakness and how you're working on it. Choose a weakness that won't be a handicap to the job. In other words, avoid choosing a weakness that appears anywhere on the job description. Then, go into how you're working to improve on it. Here's an example. I get really nervous when I speak in front of large groups of people. However, I've been working on this, and I've even taken a few small public speaking classes. This has really helped me get more comfortable with public speaking. For an admin position, you should mention strengths such as analytical, hardworking, and dedicated, and give examples of each. In terms of questions you can ask the interviewer, here are some you can prepare. What does a typical day look like? What are the skills and experiences you are looking for in an ideal candidate? What is the company culture like? Where do you see this company going in the next few years? And finally, how to answer any questions related to teamwork. Questions related to teamwork absolutely must be backed up by an example. So sit down and make a list of your greatest teamwork achievements. This can be in school, at work, whatever, and really use this as an opportunity to go into some detail about your awesomeness. Show that you are able to work effectively with people and you'll be golden.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to stay up to date.